Ignition sequence start. 3, 2, 1.
Range is hot. Lock and load. It's time for the Gun Rack with your hosts, Joey and Drew.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Gun Rack's Northern Desert Institute School of Firearms Technology's official podcast. I'm Josiah Upper. Folks call me Joey, and with me we have one
Drew Poplin.
Drew Poplin. We actually have a third person with us today, but we'll get into that in a minute. We have a pretty awesome lineup for you guys today. So on top of our Tales from the Range and our Drew's Clues, which we are going to get back into there. I know we had a very brief hiatus from that. We have an SDI graduate that a lot of you guys might already be familiar with. We were able to borrow SDI grad Caleb Savant, who is essentially the voice or the face, or maybe both, of Brownells. He's one of their chief content creators, and he does a lot of really cool stuff with them. And we were able to borrow him and talk about his time with us, and then what he does and what his career is like. And we thought that would be really cool and awesome to share. He's a great guy, and we even end up talking bourbon a little bit at the end there. But before we get into that, let's go into the clues, because Drew Poplin is on the clues. Drew's Clues. What do we got today?
Yes, sir. So 2 weeks ago, our answer was the DP51 Daewoo. This week's clues, this firearm is chambered in 7.62 by 51 millimeter NATO. In 1946, the first prototype was completed of this firearm. It has been used by over 90, that's 90 countries, has a barrel length of 533 millimeters. And when you translate its name into English, it roughly translates to light automatic rifle.
Ooh, I did not look at the clues, but I think I know that one too. So that'll be fun. For now, be thinking on that one. And next week, we're going to be giving you the answer for that. Before we drive into this interview with Caleb, there's one more thing we wanted to share with you, and that's Sonoran Desert Institute itself. Are you interested in the world of firearms technology? Do you want to take your understanding of this space to the next level? Well, Sonoran Desert Institute is an online school accredited by the Distance Education Accrediting Commission, that deals specifically with firearms technology and unmanned or uncrewed technologies. So we're talking gunsmithing and drones. So with that, we've got 3 different programs. We have the Associate of Science in Firearms Technology, which is, of course, a full degree program at the associate's level. We have the Certificate of Firearms Technology Gunsmithing. That's the CFTG. So we've got the ASFT and the CFTG. And then in the world of drones, we have the CUTAS, Certificate in Unmanned and or Uncrewed Technology Aerial Systems. So we've got a lot going on for you guys in these spaces that we love so much. We are available to talk with you most hours of the day. If you hop onto sdi.edu, you'll find a little chat box there. Feel free to hit up our admissions reps. They are wonderful, wonderful folks. And we would love to talk with you more about what SDI can partner with you to learn in your near future. That's sdi.edu. All right. Now we've got that out of the way. Let's dive right into this interview with us and Caleb Savant. Okay, everyone. Well, we are here with Caleb Savant of Brownells fame, previously of SDI fame. How are you doing, Caleb?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming on. And Caleb, you went to SD. How long was it ago that you graduated?
Oh man, it was I want to say like a year and a half, 2 years ago, maybe.
Okay,
not too long ago.
Not too long ago at all.
Yeah.
And now, of course, you work with Brownells. And what do you do? What do you do with Brownells?
So my job title recently changed, and it's kind of a weird job title. It
Interesting.
it was gun tech slash gun guru.
Yeah.
Now it's just gun tech gunsmith slash media content creator.
Oh, wow.
Or if you ask anybody in a company, it's just media content creator. So
Yeah,
yeah.
all the things.
all the things,
Yeah.
all the things.
How did you get over there?
So before I actually went to SDI, so technically, I guess you can say I'm a traditionally trained gunsmith. I've actually been gunsmithing since 2012.
Oh, dang. Very
Yes.
nice.
So before attending SDI, I've been gunsmithing for almost 10 years, and I started Brownells in 2018 is whenever I got over there.
Wow.
Yeah, I had been gunsmithing in South Louisiana for since 2012, and then it was one of those things where so there's a long story, and we can go through the whole thing.
Yeah,
but,
let's do
so,
it.
Yeah, so yeah, we'll start from the beginning. So I was in the Army, as most SDI students and graduates are,
Oh, yes.
or have been, and I was a combat engineer. I got blown up a few times in Afghanistan, and
I wanted to ask you about that.
Yeah. No, go ahead. Feel free to interrupt at any point.
Yeah, no, I saw. So you have a post on your Twitter. I think it's a picture of you. Or like, oh yeah, this is me as a combat engineer before I got blown up twice.
Yeah.
Wait, what? I feel like I should have done more research.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a you can find the picture. I mean, I have a my social media presence is there, and it's all public. So I'm sure there's plenty of it out there. But yeah, so there's pictures out there of me being all like blown up and stuff. But
Well, dang.
yeah, so I got blown up a few times doing that. So good times.
Yeah.
But no, so I was getting medically discharged from the Army, and I was trying to stay in the Army. So I was like doing stuff to try to stay in. So I was going to promotion boards. Then I was, going to any school they would let me go to. Fortunately, my first sergeant and commander liked me, so they were like trying to help me out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I went to, I ended up going to armorer school and becoming my unit armorer.
Awesome.
And that was kind of what started it off for me, really. But as a kid, I was always the kid that was like taking apart the toaster and stuff,
Yep.
and like putting it back together, taking things apart to see how they work. So I was already like mechanically inclined. So I that was about around the time Obama was making cuts to the Army. So my med board was basically fast tracked, and I ended up like falling through the cracks at one point, and like there was a period of time where like I re-enlisted, even though I was getting medically discharged.
Oh.
And yeah, so I kind of got in trouble for that a little bit, but like not really. I don't know. It was a weird situation. Because like I re-enlisted, I got orders to go to Germany. Like it was like a whole thing.
And they were like,
and I was like, yes. I was like,
did you seriously just finesse your way
I beat the system.
into it?
So like my sergeant major, who was like this tabbed out like Ranger, Sapper, Airborne, Pathfinder, just like hardcore dude, like called me into his office and like knife hands me. He's like, Corporal Savant. And I was like, oh, I'm just standing at parade rest,
Yeah.
And he's just like knife handed, he's like staring at me, and he's like, nice try. And that's all he said. Like that was it. And so I did not get to go to Germany. And instead I got the boot. But with that being said, we moved back to Louisiana, me and my wife, and we had 2 kids at the time. I had 2 kids while I was in the Army. I have 3 now. So we moved back to Louisiana because that's where we were both from originally. That's where our family was. And now I am on the search for a job. So, I'm doing the whole job hunt thing.
Yeah, always fun.
Yep. So I'm on terminal leave, and I'm living off of my severance pay. And I go into this job or this gun store called Jim's Firearms in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Very large gun store.
I think I've heard of Jim's Firearms.
Yeah, it's a large gun store in Louisiana.
Yeah.
And I go in there and I apply for a job just working the gun counter, and as timing would have it, one of their gunsmiths is leaving. So like, oh, you want a paid apprenticeship type program? So I'm like, yeah,
I certainly do. Yeah.
Because they looked at my resume and they were like, oh, you have some armor experience,
Yeah.
we have a need. You fit, yeah. So I'm like, yes, please.
Yep.
That sounds way better.
Yep.
So I started gunsmithing at a whopping $8 an hour as a paid
Hey,
apprentice.
there you go.
So with a wife and 2 kids, I was depleting that severance pay very quickly.
Yep.
So as many gunsmiths, my beginning story was a very, very rough one. It just you don't just come out the gate strong.
No,
Like,
yeah.
It's a rough start, but it is certainly worth it. So I started, like, the only thing they would let me do is like clean and oils. Like the only thing. Like I was just taking guns apart completely, cleaning them and putting them back together. And like that's all I would do, like all day long.
All day, every day. That's
all
a
day,
lot.
every day. And just like everything though. But and I would say it was extremely beneficial to do that, because it was just every type of gun you can think of. Because
Sure.
it's
Yeah.
South Louisiana. There's just like these old
Yeah.
like guns
Like
you
a
can't
cannon,
imagine.
maybe.
Yeah, like
Old
these
broomstick.
sugarcane farmers, like there's no telling what they're gonna pull out of their barn and bring in, It's
Yep.
like I got to work on like so many different types of guns and just get my hands on like so much different stuff. So it was extremely beneficial to understand, to get like a base understanding of the mechanics of so many different guns.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that was actually a really good experience before they actually started like letting me like repair stuff.
Yeah.
And then moving on from there, and then I started, they started teaching me how to use a lathe and a mill and doing some actual other stuff too. So
Yeah.
so I stayed there for 2 years, and then I ended up going to another gunsmith shop in Baton Rouge called Renterson's Gunsmith Service, and they were kind of the opposite of Jim's Firearms, and in regards to they had a very small retail operation, but a much larger gunsmith operation. Because
Interesting.
they did a
Yeah.
lot of warranty work all over the country for like Browning,
yeah.
Winchester, Remington, Marlin, all the Freedom Group, the whole Freedom Group at the time companies.
Yeah.
So I did a lot of warranty work for those companies there. And then about a year after working there, so I had been gunsmithing for 3 years at this point.
Yeah. Hopefully
And,
not at $8 an hour at this
No,
point.
no, no.
Okay,
I was
very good.
I was doing much better at this point.
Yeah.
And I was so at Renterson's I was no longer hourly. I was working on commission, and
Nice.
I was doing pretty good on commission. So
Yeah.
I was doing pretty well for myself. And
Yeah.
the owner of the company came up to me one day and he was like, "Hey, how would you like to be the working shop foreman?" And I was like, "That sounds like a pretty sweet
Sure
gig."
would.
that a
Yeah.
lot.
Yep. And he was like, "Oh, so you're not going to be able to spend as much time on at your bench because you're going to be supervising. So I'm going to compensate that with hourly plus commission." And I was like, "Yeah, all this sounds great."
Yep. This. Yep.
Yeah, I'm picking up what you're putting down. Keep talking. Yeah.
Yep.
So I stayed there for another year, and my old boss from Jim's Firearms ended up leaving Jim's Firearms, and he went to work for Lipsy's, doing all their Class 3 stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So they had a position open up at the place I started at as an apprentice, now running their gunsmith shop. And so I went back there to run their gunsmith department 4 years later.
Nice.
Yeah, so complete full like circle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I stayed there for an additional 2 years, and then me and the wife just finally decided it was time to leave Baton Rouge. And I saw Brownells, I applied for a few jobs here and there, whatever.
Sure, yeah,
I saw
yeah.
Brownells had a job posting for gun tech, and I was like, that sounds cool. That's Brownells. It's like the
Yeah.
gunsmith smart, I was like, I'll apply for it, not thinking anything to come of it at all. Like, it's Brownells, I'm sure they got like a bajillion
Yeah.
applications
Oh, yeah.
for this job. Next thing I know, I'm on a plane to Iowa for a job interview, and the interview went very well. So I started working at Brownells as one of their gun techs, and
Mhm.
it was mostly like a call center job. I was mostly just like answering questions and just like consulting and traveling around to gunsmithing schools teaching classes, and that's what the job was. And then I did a few videos here and there in the video studio, just kind of like on a trial basis. And
Sure.
they were like, yeah, we like this guy. And now I'm the full-time studio guy. So that's what I do full-time now. I work in the video studio.
That is really fun.
And
So, by the way, congrats on your nomination at the Gundies.
next year I'm killing it.
Yep.
I will not take top 5 for an answer next year.
Absolutely not.
Nor should you, especially
Nor should I.
especially for most dapper.
Yeah.
Like-
Are you kidding me?
I mean, who else are they going with?
Ian McCollum from Forgotten Weapons rigged it with his Discord. Okay.
Yeah.
He had all of his guys on his Discord channel go and vote for one guy, and he just completely
Just
cleared
tore it up. Yeah.
He did. Yeah. So that's all
I
right.
didn't realize that man had a Discord. I gotta go find it.
Yeah, but I'm gonna get all my Twitch streamer buddies in on it next year, and we'll do battle at the Discords. So
Ooh. What do you do? What do you stream on Twitch?
I don't stream that often, but when I do, I stream some Escape from Tarkov.
Very nice.
Yeah, that's my jam.
Yeah, that's good stuff. In fact, I think I remember you doing a video about that, or
Yeah,
being
so-
a part of a video about that a little bit ago.
With Twitch streamer Jesse Kazam, we did some Guns of Tarkov on the Brown House channel.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't you say he hasn't seen Band of Brothers yet?
Yeah, so apparently he
What?
fixed that. So that's been taken care of,
Okay,
supposedly.
Good.
But yeah, so him and Veritas were doing the podcast together, and
Uh-huh.
he mentioned like, "Oh, I hadn't seen Band of Brothers," and I was like, I was listening to it in my
Yeah.
truck, and I almost like wrecked and died.
Yeah.
Like I was like,
If
"What
you're
just
a mammal, you've seen Band of Brothers.
at least once, at least."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like even like I do a lot of theater stuff in the off hours. That's kind of my shtick. And I was hanging out with them in the last show I was doing. I mentioned Band of Brothers, and all of my theater people are like, "Oh yeah, watch it once every 6 months."
Sure.
Yep.
Yes, you gotta
That's
stay up
simply
Have you catched the Pacific yet?
on- Of course.
yeah. We were
Okay.
talking about that out of
Yeah.
it. Drew has not, and it's kind of an embarrassment to the company. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yes.
So when you're coming up with the content that you do, what has inspired some of your more recent stuff? I know there's rumblings about tactical games. Did that happen already, or is that coming down the pipeline?
Tactical Games is in October, and then Cornfield Brutality, which is part of like
That's-
the Finnish Brutality and all the stuff that In Range TV does. That's
Sounds
next
like a
month.
really cool band name.
Cornfield Brutality. It's
Cornfield
like
Brutality.
a spin-off of Slipknot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Slipknot, but everyone is from Iowa.
Oh, that's great. I think everyone from Slipknot is from Iowa, aren't they?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I think they're all from Des Moines. They're like right
Oh
up the
my
road.
Gosh.
I'm looking this
Oh.
up now. I need to.
Yeah.
Y'all
I know, like
continue.
our studio manager, who actually just recently left Brownells and went to Rock Island Auctions, he like
Ooh,
photographed
nice.
the drummer's wedding or something. Like
Oh my gosh. That's
Joey,
so cool.
yeah.
So while you're doing all that, what made you want to also go to SDI? Because clearly you had the background already going on for you.
I did, yeah.
At Brownells. Did you just want to double down, or?
I wanted to double down, and like I got that letter in the mail from the VA, and they were like, "Hey, your GI Bill's gonna expire and somewhat soon," and I was
Yeah.
like, I need to use this. And it was during
Absolutely,
COVID.
Yeah.
I was working from home a lot already anyway,
Yeah.
and I was like, I can do this. And then I was like, I can double down with some online gunsmithing school.
Yeah.
So-
Totally.
Mhm.
Why not SDI?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I did it.
Absolutely. So, what was your experience like there? Was it I'm assuming it was positive as we're sitting here talking,
Yeah.
but
You know, I absolutely hated it. It was terrible. I can't
Yeah.
believe you.
I gotta go mute
I
him.
gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
No, it was good. It's a really, I was impressed with the program. It was a good program.
Nice. Was there a class that you liked more than others and or disliked? Do you have a favorite or one that you just kind of grit your teeth through?
I feel like I was pretty strong in everything. I really like the, ballistic classes, because that just kind of like reinforced some stuff for me. Checkering is not like riding a bike.
Yeah.
I had checker years ago, and I like haven't done it for a while. So when I got into the checkering class, I was like, Psh, yeah, I can checker. And then I started checkering, and I was like, Psh, I can't checker.
You can.
So, yeah. So checkering was
Little bit of a grind.
yeah,
Well, kind of literally, but
yeah, checkering kind of sucked for me. But like, as far as like stock finishing and like bluing and all that stuff, I was down on that. That was super easy, blew right through it, you know. But yeah, checkering was probably the hardest thing for me. So
nice, very nice. And coming out of it, have you been able to take any of that with what you're doing in content creation? Has that had any influence on what you've been doing?
you know, it kind of has, because I got to see where like because of all the discussion board type stuff, I got to see where a lot of other students were kind of struggling and areas that they really needed help in, and I kind of geared some of the content creation towards that a bit.
Ooh, that's a really good idea.
Yeah,
I
so,
might have to go do that.
Yep. So that's
let me go raid their discussion boards.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of
really clever.
You could kind of tell like what classes I was in at the time by what videos we were releasing at that time.
Yeah.
It was interesting how we did that, because like we would be in like for example the ballistic classes. You can tell like 2 weeks after I got out of the ballistic class, we did like a few ballistic videos.
Yep.
So it was interesting.
Oh, totally. Are there other content things you do with Brownells, or do you mostly just focus on churning out video stuff?
I do some stuff on the social media side, not a ton.
Mm-hmm.
Since COVID started, I haven't been to any, but I did travel and teach some at gunsmithing schools. I've been to Murray State College in Pennsylvania Gunsmith School, taught AR-15 armor and alternate finishes there.
Cool. Yeah.
And we did those in person. But I haven't gone since COVID. I probably won't. Now that I move full time in the studio, I probably won't be.
Yeah, a little different. Yeah,
unfortunately. But yeah, aside from that, whenever we have like VIP builds come into Brownells, I also help out with those as well. When I say VIP builds, I mean like if we have like a famous, you know,
I was about to say,
or somebody
are you allowed to share any of those people that you've worked on guns for?
So recently it's just been, you know, business owners from other larger companies. So not necessarily anyone famous. And then there's a few others coming up at the end of the month, but again, not anyone famous. Aaron Lewis came recently, but I was on vacation with family, so they had somebody else step in and do that one. But yeah, so that kind of stuff as well.
Cool.
Good. The fun stuff.
Yeah, that's really cool. So we've got the tactical games coming up in October, as well as our very favorite Iowa metal band coming up a little sooner. What else, content-wise, personally in this realm is coming up for you in the not too distant future?
Yeah, so we have a new website getting ready to launch, and that's going to be way more content focused. So getting everything ready for that is going to really be huge. And so we did an AR-15 build series. I don't know if you've got the chance to check that out or not. It's on our website currently. It's not on any other place because it can't be, because it shows you step by step how to build an AR-15. But we want to do more stuff like that. It's like an interactive build series. I mean,
interesting.
You start off, you pick your lower receiver. You know, do you want to build it with a rifle stock or a carbine stock? You click that, and then it shows you how to install a carbine stock, and then it shows you, you know, how to install, you know, whatever. And we spent about 4 months filming it, because it shows a super tight close up on how to install every single piece and different tips and tricks to get, you know, and then it shows you how to pick a stock, like what to look for when you're selecting stuff. And I keep saying stock, but I mean, it goes through every single piece.
Sure. Yeah. Is this a free thing you can do
Yeah,
while
it's
you're shopping?
yeah, brownells.com/how to build. It's free.
Wow.
Yeah, and it goes through it's a full complete free build series. And also at the end of the build series, it goes through troubleshooting. So everything you may run into at the range after you built your AR-15, then you take it out and shoot it. Then it's me sitting at a bench duplicating every malfunction I can think of that you may run into, and walking
how
you
to
through
work
how to
through
fix
it.
it.
Yeah.
So spent a lot of time on that, and it's my most recent. It's my baby.
Yeah, that sounds like such a heavy lift,
So
but it's such a cool concept.
and we want to do more of that. So that more of stuff like that in the future. So we want to do that for different firearm platforms as well as two new things. Probably the two that we're going to do in the near future is going to be something very similar to that, but reloading focused. So basically that same exact concept, but with hand loading. So how to select a press, how to select dies, every single little piece, every step of the process. And then also do the same thing with alternate finishes, like your different spray on finishes, like Alumahide, Gun Coat, Cerakote, how to pick a finish, how to apply this finish, prep work, like every step of the process in detail. So those are the two big things I got coming up.
Yeah, that sounds absolutely huge.
Yeah.
Cool deal. Well, thank you so much for taking all this time. Yes, Drew.
Yeah, if you don't mind, Caleb, I got a couple of questions I want to ask you.
Okay.
So being a content creator, I know you have you did the shots fired thing back in August.
Yes.
But how do you handle some of maybe the negative feedback or the comments that you see?
Ooh, good question.
So here's the deal. When I say I put out content, I mean like we guys, content creators in general, we put out content, and obviously there's a ton of people that like our content. There's way more people that like our content than don't like our content.
Sure.
So you're getting way more positive, you're getting way more positive feedback than you are getting negative feedback. All that negative feedback you're getting doesn't matter because the content you're putting out isn't for them anyway. If they don't like it, it's not for them. What does it matter? The only people it's for is the people who like it. Like, for example, if I put out a video, like let's take the Smithbuster series, for example.
Sure.
Most people love it. There's a few people that absolutely hate it, but it doesn't matter. It's not for them. If they don't like it, it's not for them. There's stuff out there that they love, sure, whatever. That's for them. So honestly, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. The other part of that I found anyway, this isn't always the case, but for a lot of the content we do, the people that hate on it a lot are people that have already watched all the way through it. So it's like, well, you already engaged with this content. So
yeah,
we'll see. You can be bad next time as long as you're still hanging out with us. That's fine.
Yeah.
So I've read that you are a fine alcohol enthusiast. I'm gearing up for a wedding here in a couple months.
Okay.
I need suggestions because my idea of fine alcohol is going from...
It's a Bud Light Lime, Drew. Don't try to sugarcoat it.
Yeah, it goes from Pabst Blue Ribbon or like Milwaukee's Best to like maybe a Yingling.
All right. Well, just get yourself a good bourbon. Okay. Put it in your fancy Brownells. It's not going to focus.
Oh, do they have glasses?
There's a Brownells glass, but better yet,
so cool. No way.
You can't buy this, unfortunately.
No,
this was a very limited edition thing.
Just to narrate to listeners, he's currently holding a Brownells bourbon bottle. Is it Brownells bourbon inside of it, or did you just transplant bourbon?
So it is
into this thing.
It was a barrel select that we did from Axe and the Oak Distillery, and then they custom bottled it for us.
That is
a limited
so
run.
Cool.
This is bottle number 92. I don't remember how many.
Super
we did.
Small batch. Yeah.
Yeah.
But is it good bourbon in that bottle?
It's decent bourbon. It's not the best bourbon I've ever had, but I've had worse. Hopefully nobody's in that. It's
Yeah.
great. It's great bourbon.
It's probably way better than anything I've ever sipped in my life.
Yeah. What's
So,
your
like,
favorite? Yeah.
if I'm just going to the store and like if I'm looking for like a bourbon, I can find it mostly any store. It's gonna be like a Bullet or a Elijah Craig. Those two are like kind of like my go-to store-bought bourbons.
Sure.
Bullet's probably my favorite though. That's a really good bourbon for like store-bought bourbon.
Yeah.
I'll make a
really-
note of that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And last question, having spent so much time in Louisiana, in southern Louisiana, imagine for a second you're on a desert island. Not a deserted, a desert island, mind you. And
Deserted.
and there is a bowl of gumbo and there's a bowl of jambalaya, and you only could eat from one. Which one are you eating from?
What
Is
is
this like-
specific scenario?
All right. Is this assuming they're like both good, like one's good gumbo and the other's not
Yes.
good jambalaya? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Jambalaya.
Jambalaya.
Yep.
How come?
Because the best jambalaya I've ever had is just a little bit better than the best gumbo I've ever had.
I don't think I've ever had gumbo.
I've always been more of a jambalaya guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like my wife makes a mean quail gumbo, but
Whoa.
yeah,
That sounds really good.
it is really good. It's phenomenal.
I don't think I've ever had gumbo, and the only jambalaya I've ever had was created from a Zataran's box.
Look,
So-
I'll be in New Orleans next month
Uh-huh.
for work. I'm going to be taking a little work trip down there, and I will be doing my best to find some jambalaya or gumbo.
Dang.
Well,
that
don't be
is-
surprised if me
Yeah,
and Joey just happen to pop up there somewhere.
I might.
So, speaking of work in Louisiana next month, so Gun Talk Media is doing this thing called Build Box. Are y'all familiar with it?
I have heard the name, but I haven't like walked through it with someone, and we certainly haven't done it on the podcast. So
Mhm.
So what they're selling it as, right, is
Mhm.
like a gun or firearm version of Forged in Fire.
ooh.
Yeah.
I know
So-
they did one briefly that did not last long. I forget what it's called. And I thought the concept was super cool. That sounds wonderful. That would be so good.
Yeah. So the layout's a little bit different. They're going to do like different judges for each episode and stuff like that. But the first season is mainly going to like AR-15 type focus stuff.
Mhm.
Like episode 1's going to be like the defensive carbine, and then different stuff on and on from there. But yeah, so I'm traveling down to Louisiana next month for a few days to film for that. So
That sounds
That's so
so
exciting.
fun.
yeah, so that'll be
Ooh.
cool. I'm excited about that.
Wow. Okay. So next steps here, if you're feeling sufficiently froggy, when you're done with these tactical games, and you're not just covering it, right? You're gonna go.
Oh, I'm competing.
Compete,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm gonna be out there
Mhm.
making a fool of myself.
Yep. I would do similarly, though I'm not sure I know a sufficient amount to make a fool of myself. But people will be like, "What's he doing?" I'd be like, "That nice man told me where to go." We definitely hop back on here and tell us how that goes, because I'd love to hear about it.
Okay.
And if you haven't between now and then, Grand Larceny and Four Roses Small Batch bourbons.
Four
are-
Roses.
Four Roses is so good.
Yeah.
The
Four
small batch
Roses-
is like a middle shelf, but it's
Yeah, Four Roses actually. The bullet is actually made by Four Roses.
really
Yes.
okay. There you go. But yeah, those two both. Drew, did you get enough information for your wedding?
Yeah, I'm planning it right now.
The Spud Light Lime.
We're gonna get some Four Roses and we're gonna get some jambalaya.
Miller
the-
High Life.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The Costco margarita wine cocktail. Whatever
hardly
it's
even
called.
get a venue, dude.
There you go. Yeah. One thing at a time. But Caleb, thank you so much for hanging out with us. This is a good time.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. All right, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that. We really did. That Caleb interview is great, and I think his bid to get into the most dapper space for the Gundies is going to meet with a little more success this coming year. That's the hope, anyway.
And you can do your part.
Oh,
Do
yeah.
your part. All you listening right now.
Yeah, we when the Gundies come up, hopefully we'll remember, and we'll put some info out there for you guys to go vote and check that out. Gundies are a good fun time. We have a couple more things before we head out, but we hope you enjoyed that. First, of course, is one last plug for Sonoran Desert Institute. If you want to learn more about Sonoran Desert Institute, hop on to sdi.edu. There's a news tab. And under that news tab, there's something called grad features. And that's where our graduates talk with you guys, or discuss with us to talk with you guys about their experience here, what it was like for them, where they're at now, and whether or not SDI was worth their time. And of course, they're going to be able to talk about all that much more authoritatively than we are, because they went through all the things that our students go through. And it's definitely worth a read. You can also check out our course catalog, which is full of all sorts of interesting information on how our students learn over the course of our programs. So hop on to sdi.edu, check out news and grad features, or check out our course catalog, or maybe both. That's, once again, sdi.edu. And now, to take us out of here, we've got a Tales from the Range. Where's this one coming from?
So this one comes to us once again from the high road. This is by user Freedom V, and it is a tale of a father and a daughter. How lovely. Several years ago, my young daughter, about 10, was with me at a public shooting range. One of the guys noticed her watching as he shot a S&W 44 mag, and he offered to let her shoot it. She sat down on the bench and he handed her the revolver. She took careful aim and fired. He reached down to take the gun from her, thinking that one shot was all she could handle or would want to shoot, when she proceeded to cock and shoot all 6 rounds. There was a look of astonishment and disbelief on his face. It was priceless. This little girl could handle this 44 Magnum, and she liked it. That's not how it's supposed to be. Yeah, I would disagree with that, because it sounds like she was pretty comfortable with that.
Yeah, that's pretty wholesome. 44 Magnum is a beast, but I mean, if you know what you're doing, then who's size does not make all the difference. So yeah, good stuff. I've actually never shot a 44 Magnum.
Really?
Now that I think about it, need to put that on the to-do list.
Absolutely.
Anyway, folks, for now, that is going to be the Gun Rack. Until next week, have fun out there, and we will see you at the range.
Sonoran Desert Institute is an online school accredited by the DEAC. It is headquartered at 1555 West University Drive in Tempe, Arizona. For more information about how you can craft your firearms future, visit sdi.edu.